Okay, so joining us live here are some of the filmmakers behind these films. Please give them a big round of applause. And we can hear you applauding in the virtual world.
Woo!
Before we dive into finding out more about their films, let me check this link or remind people, hopefully you've switched over to the new link. So I'm going to go over there now because I may need to look for questions here. So give me just a second to get that adjusted. Okay, so Fabio, I followed the link, but I'm not seeing, I need to, there we go. I want to post in here real quick for people to add their questions. Submit. So while I'm doing that, Rob, why don't you go ahead? Rob is our chair of our screenwriters group. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the contest, a quick recap, and then announce this year's winner?
No problem. So this year's contest was someone had to be named Sam. They had to be falsely accused of something. The genre was picked randomly. There had to be a key involved. And at some point, the line, "That's the thanks I get," had to be used. So it came really close. But this year's winner is "And That's the Thanks I Get" by Deb McMillan.
Woo!
Yeah.
Congrats, Deb.
I was extra hoping Deb
Yeah.
would be on so that she would hear this news. So maybe she heard it, but she's not in here. So congratulations, Deb, 2 years in a row. Third time winning overall. So either has really good scripts or knows a lot of people to vote.
Might be both.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Rob. We appreciate it, and great job organizing the screenwriters group stage reading for this year.
Well, thank you very much. Great job putting all this virtual stuff together for us.
Yeah, no problem. So let's go ahead and dive into the Q&A, and we're going to start with, we're probably a few people are still trying to make their way over from the previous video, but we'll dive in and we'll go in order of the films. And in this case, on some of the films, we have several filmmakers involved in them. And we're going to start with some of the films that were created by members of the Mid-America Filmmakers here based in South Bend in the Michiana area. And so those include, and we'll have you introduce yourself, say your name, and then tell us a little bit about your film. So I directed A Very Kitty Christmas, which I just shot with my cats around the house over Christmas break. And then let's talk about Liquored Up. So if the director could introduce herself and tell us a little bit about it, what inspired the story.
Well, I did Liquored Up because it was part of the $100 movie contest, and I enjoyed writing it. And we had the opportunity, thanks to Tim, to be able to shoot it. And so we went ahead and did it over there at the high school. And I think it turned out very well. And I owe a big thank you to Tim for that, and to my husband Dave, and all the people that were involved. Brenda Bowyer from WNIT really helped a lot. Alex, of course, helped a great deal with the filming, and Bernardo, was it? Yeah, Bernardo. And there were just quite a few people involved in it, and it went very well, and I was very happy with it.
Okay, so it's Deb wrote a message saying she can't log in, she can't sign in, but unfortunately I can't do much to help her at this point. So she had created the Stick Up, which we just saw, which was last year's winner, and we already mentioned that she just won this year. So let's talk to the director of, the head of Right Away Out Productions, had 3 films in, Black Blue, Sam and Sugar. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your projects and yourself?
Oh, all right. Well, I'm Casey Matthews. As Tim said, I own Right Away Out Productions with another M.A.F person you all are familiar with is Benny Little. Let's see. I'll just briefly talk about all 3 of them for time. Black and Blue is a film that I put together, obviously dealing with things that are happening today and have been happening for years. We did that one last year, and it's one of the closest ones to reality that we do, or we have done. Sam was a film that we did. I just kind of wrote it. I'm just kind of interested in that kind of realm, like kind of what happens in like the spiritual realm and things like that. So it was just kind of a fun thing I did. And then Sugar, I wanted to write a script to see how many twists and turns I could put into about a 5 to 7 minute film. And that's kind of how that developed. It started off as I wanted it to be like a horror film, but then I threw more twists into it. So leaving the audience kind of like, what the just happened? So, and that's the basis of all three of those.
Okay, and where are you based out of?
We've shot everything mostly in the Michiana area. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay, I did not realize that. So great. And then Rose, you're in Mishawaka, right?
I'm in Mishawaka, yeah.
And I'm actually, I do a lot of work in South Bend, but I live in Edwardsburg, Michigan, just over the state line. So let's go on to some of our student films. So our only high school film scholar's dream. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why that film exists?
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm a student at Riley High School. And Scholar's Dream was created as part of a 10-day film challenge where we had 10 days to write, shoot, and edit our film. So, it was my first time directing a film, writing it. So, it was a little stressful. I mean, just not knowing what to exactly do. Where do you start? Where do you, how do you even write a script that people will pay attention to? And I ran into a bit of trouble, but it was my first time, so I got my foot in the door.
All right. I remember your script was a lot longer, and you realized it had
Yeah.
a 4 time limit, so you had to do a lot of trimming.
Yeah. So there was a lot of good stuff that had to be cut, but if I had to go and redo it again, I would definitely make a 4-minute version and then an actual full length.
Right.
So
Great. Our next film, these next 3 films are from students and graduated students from the University of Notre Dame. So first one will be Reflections. So if you could raise your hand if you're one of the filmmakers involved in that film, and if one of you could start off and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's me, Mary, and then also Fernanda. You can't see her hand because she's just got audio.
Yes.
But
Okay.
it was us 3. It was like our semester-long digital cinema production project. We made like a no dialogue short film, so no talking, a lot of visual storytelling, but just learned a lot about the pre-production, production, post-production. It's kind of like a crash course on all those different parts, all put into one semester. So it was a big learning curve for us.
Okay, Mary?
Yeah, it's I will agree with that. And making a film, if when you've never made a film, you might, like, as I hadn't done a project this big before this particular film. And when you've not made a film of that scale before, I think you automatically underestimate all of the different moving parts that are going to go into it. I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone here can agree with that. So it was a really crazy experience. We had to change a lot of things on the fly. But I think in the end, we produced a really good product.
Yeah, for sure. Fernanda? We don't hear you, Fernanda. Are you able to? There you go.
Yes, sorry.
There you are. Oh, no
I
problem.
was still muted, but I'm here. Yeah, like my teammate said, it was a big project, and I think we were really lucky because we were the only team who had 3 people instead of 2. And I think we worked really well. Just each one of us had like strengths and different things, and I think that really helped us. And during making the film, it feels like a lot of work. It's just planning nonstop, but then the results are very rewarding.
Okay, great. And I see Deb I'm going to take a break into here real quick. I see Deb got on. Looks like she's running around her house and yard. Can you hear us, Deb? You're like, she appears and vanishes, much like one of Casey's psychological horror films. She's there, and then it's darkness, and then she's not there. Can you hear us, Deb?
Abducted by aliens.
All right, Deb. Well, we can't hear you, but maybe you can hear us. But we just want to congratulate you again for, if you didn't hear, you won this year. So I guess Rob could have told you that. He's sitting right there. Anyway, if you get audio, let us know, and we'll have you answer some questions about Liquored Up. Continuing on with some of Notre Dame films, Sea Dogs. I don't know if we had someone for Sea Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was,
so.
yeah,
Okay.
so I was one of the co-writers and co-directors for that. So my partner Ted Nagy is not here, but so that project was a part of the same class as Hugh, Mary, and Fernanda. So it was a digital short, no dialogue, and I think the idea for that, I mean, we wanted to go something certainly more lighthearted, pretty simple story considering the no dialogue constraint, and I think we both knew like the Warren Dunes were, 40-45 minutes from us, and we wanted to utilize that location. So I think the story was kind of written around some of the production capabilities we had. He also, his little brother was able to star as the little kid in that one. So that, I think just having those capabilities, we wanted to go kind of like a lighthearted story about like two brothers, and then be able to utilize that beach and some of those props. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, but like the other three said, just a lot of work, and filming on the beach in the middle of November it's very cold.
Yeah, for sure. Beautiful shots. Look great.
Yeah, they were.
Thank you.
And then Tape Wizard, which was our only documentary this evening.
Hello, my name's Killian. I did Tape Wizard as part of Notre Dame's documentary production class, where they really focus in on like cinema verite documentary style. And I knew going into it, I kind of wanted to avoid like music that was not from the artist, as well as like text on screen and nothing to read. I kind of just wanted to show this Portland-based ambient musician, like straight up raw footage and his raw music, and just kind of like let you take it in. So it can be a little jarring at first when you see it, but I think just the visual shots of him exploring his like artistic medium and the music he creates kind of like gives you a little bit slice of his life that's like as pure as you can make it as a filmmaker. I don't know, it's hard to document someone's life when you got a camera in their face.
Right, sure. No, that was pretty cool. So Batman, The Death of Robin.
Yes.
Recently won Best Indiana Film at PopCon. So congratulations.
That's correct. Yeah, very proud of that. And like I said in many posts on social media before, I couldn't have done it without my incredible team. I had some awesome guys working with me, and their dedication means the world to me, especially being a newbie filmmaker and actor. Kind of got into this on accident. My focus was voiceover, and so this is an awesome creative field to get into, and I'm excited for what the future holds for sure.
Right, and you also starred in the film as well.
Yes, I was a Joker. It was really fun to play. Sometimes, when we were filming, I had about 3 hours of sleep, which was horrible because our filming days were more than 12 hours for 2 days on a weekend. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, man, why did I choose the Joker for my first performance? I was thinking like, this is a mistake. This is going to turn out horrible. What am I doing? But I think it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's definitely a very engaging film. I just
I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, fantastic job.
Thank you.
And then finally, Fabio, talking about your production for Abroad Alone.
Yeah, my name is Fabio Santos. I'm a filmmaker from Portugal. I made Abroad Alone in 2018. It was 2 years ago. It was a collaboration between two different continents. I'm from Portugal in Europe, and we have Tim Richardson as a co-producer in this film. We're also lucky enough to have two actresses flying from LA to Portugal on vacation, and it ended up working well for our schedule. It was a very low budget film. We had like some scenes that were shot here and there, especially for the montage, but was mainly shot in just one day. That one day, some of the actors there.
Okay, Great.
I
And
can hear
Deb,
you guys now.
okay, Deb. So first, a few words now that you won this year. What do you have to say?
Thank you. Actually, one of my friends called and she watched them all, and she said, she goes, I didn't vote for you because it's you, because that's the rule. But she said she liked it because she just liked the way it flowed, and so that was kind of nice. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, and what do you think? And tell us a little bit about. Obviously, you won with the stick up last year, and how did you feel that turned out in that process?
Oh, I could still see the spray cans a little bit, but it came out good. Other than that, it was really great. Yeah, everybody did a great job. Kevin was fantastic, and the couple people that I had to help out that aren't actors, their facial expressions were great. Brandon, who did Manny Rainbows, of course, was fantastic in his role. So yeah, got to work with some really good people.
Okay, great. Well, I'm trying to get some questions on the group here. I feel like David asked pumpkins. I put any questions? Question mark, question mark, any. We definitely had a wide variety of films here tonight, and people at different stages of their filmmaking journey. And I think most everyone kind of either their first film or third or fourth, kind of early. Has anyone here worked on or is planning on working on, say, a feature film, or is that something of any interest?
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Alex.
Oh yeah, sorry. So right now we were in the process of making like a Stranger Things parody, and it was really fun, but of course the school year ended pretty quickly because of COVID. But hopefully we can get the ball rolling soon enough, and we can have everyone come back together and make this Stranger Things parody. It's going to be called Greener Things. It's more like a instead of a Demogorgon, it's gonna be like a Dandagorgon. It's like a dandelion type thing. So I find it pretty funny, and I want to thank Tim for helping me out with getting that started. So hopefully we can have it done by next year.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
So in terms of documentary, are you looking into doing more? I'm sorry, I got to bring up anything. So Killian, are you looking to? What did you find? Are you interested in becoming a documentary filmmaker, or what are your plans with it, or is this just kind of a one-off, or you want to do some kind of other
I think I definitely like to capture something else with the documentary. I'm more so interested in like the music side of it. So I think what I learned through all this was that somebody like Ambulance, the guy I filmed, who's like one of the leaders in like ambient soundscape music, like it's not impossible to reach out to somebody like that and say, hey, can I follow you around for a couple days and see your life a little bit? So it seems very much more feasible and possible now that I've done it and gone through the whole process.
Any other film of so like Hugh and Mary and Fernanda, what's next for you? We'll start with Hugh.
Yeah, well, after working on this for a whole semester, just like kind of the process of making something from script to screen was really exciting. I definitely gravitated more towards the writing portion of it. So just having graduated, I mean, obviously COVID threw a wrench in a bunch of things, but I'm moving towards working in hopefully in some type of development role, writing role, both like locally. I'm from Michigan, so in the Detroit area, and then also hopefully when circumstances change, I could head out to California or something and find more opportunities out there too.
Great. Mary?
Yeah, doing the film was a really interesting experience, but I think what it taught me is that working on a live film set is really, really exhausting. So I've always gravitated more towards the post-production stuff. I did a lot of the sound editing and a couple of the visual effects shots on this, by the way. So that's probably more where my career trajectory is going. Also, this is weird, but I've gotten really into theme park environmental design and themed entertainment. So that's currently what I'm most actively pursuing a career in.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
for Fernanda?
I really enjoyed the production aspect of making a film, but I'm also very interested in the animation industry. So I think that's where I'm heading, either like 3D modeling and animation.
Okay. Ryan, what are your next plans and projects?
Yeah, so kind of like Hugh said, the immediate plans for the summer were thrown off, but I think long term am interested in pre-production and production stuff. I really loved being on set, working with the actors and crew. I just found that to be a lot of fun, and we also crewed on each other's films, so I think that would be where I'd want to be. Just kind of, I'm more of a communication people. I'd like, to be working with as many people as possible. So
okay,
yeah, definitely that side of things.
Great. Now, Casey, you've got a lot of. I follow your stuff. You've always got a lot of projects you're juggling, and kudos to you. You've just really been, banging out a lot of, not only just banging, but I mean, pretty quick. I mean, you've been setting goals. I'm going to do 3 films over these many weekends, and you've been not just saying it, you've been doing it, and that's quite an accomplishment. What have you got lined up, and what are some of the things you've been learning along the way?
Well, going into next year, this coming year right now, we just wrapped up last weekend another short film. We have 2 more to do at least this year. We'll do another one at the end of August and another one in September. We might throw a couple more in there depending on if my crew quits on me or not. But yeah, we do. We have cranked many short films out. By the end of this, we'll have at least 18 short films we've done in the last 2 years, which is insane. But the biggest thing that I've learned is don't cheat the editing process. That is really important. Not that we have, but I take it much more seriously and a lot more patient with that end of it, the back end of it. Because if you put all this work in and you skimp on the edit, then what was all the work for? But going into next year, we want to try and get away from doing short films. So we have a full feature we're planning to do next year. And then after that, we'll kind of see what happens. We'll still do short films because they're fun to do and they're easy. And you can do a short film in a weekend, if you get the right crew and cast and everything like that. And the biggest thing is, that I've learned in my writing is to show, don't tell. You want to try and cut your script down as much as possible, and things that you have in your script dialogue, you just kind of shorten that out and then show things rather than tell things. So bless you.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet you, Rose, for
but yeah, we're shifting focus. Start of 2021, or actually start of September, October. I'm gonna start really focusing on a full feature instead of a bunch of short films.
Great, looking forward to it for sure.
Thank you.
Brian, tell us what you just completed another Batman, right? Just recently. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and where you're seeing yourself going from here?
Yeah, for sure. So we just finished it's kind of a semi-sequel to the last one we did. It's probably going to be half the length. It's going to be a nightmare sequence with Batman being haunted by his past. I feel like there are a lot of improvements from the last one. We're going to make this one darker, even more serious, and almost heartfelt in a way. We also have a cool action scene in it, which I can't wait for people to see that. That was a blast filming. I've always wanted to do an action scene. I've always loved martial arts. And when I was a kid, I watched Power Rangers every day. Loved it to death. So it's like a dream come true. As for the future, definitely want to continue the Batman streak. But not just Batman, I also want to adapt other things into fan films. I have some on my mind, like Berserk or Death Note. Metal Gear Solid would be fun to do. amongst other things. And then outside of that, in terms of original content, I do have some ideas, one for a feature, and the other for a short. And I'm looking forward to that. I think with the feature, I don't know when that may be, but it's going to be a really dark and heavy boxing movie. And the focus isn't going to be about the boxing, but boxing is just an element of a deeper, more emotional storyline. So I think that's something that I'm extremely excited about doing.
Okay, great. And I don't want to miss anyone. Clint, we have Clint on here. Okay, I wasn't sure if I've been trying to juggle a few people. Is anyone recognize Clint as part of a particular project? Might be a bogey. I'm not sure. All right.
Oh, no, I know who they are. He's a student in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
He's going to school for music theater and things like that.
Oh, okay, so he's a guest of yours. He just kind of ended up on the chat instead of the.
No, he's interested in stuff like this, so I'm sure that he got on here because he wanted to know more.
Okay. All right.
No.
Fabio, what are you working on next?
Even though I've worked on some more narrative stuff, I'm thinking about trying to dabble a little bit into documentary. So I'm thinking about a really short first about my hometown. I was doing an interview the other day with like a local historian kind of thing, and she mentioned like she's writing a book about like my hometown. It has some really old like history things like dating back to the Roman era, in terms of like smaller underground buildings kinds of stuff, and also at least that's what she mentioned. There's also evidence of like even older civilizations, like way back. Apart from that documentary, I'm also thinking about doing a feature documentary. So that's what I'm working on right now in terms of movies.
How many cats do you have?
Deb, your cat sounds like a goat.
Why don't you catch two of them back?
That's Leland. He looks like Teddy.
He does look like Teddy. Teddy's sleeping right now. Rose, we'll conclude with you at least for this what's up next part. Tell us what are you working on? Oh, I'll unmute you. Rose, can you hear me, Rose? Ground control to filmmaker Rose.
Yeah. Okay. I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm screenwriting. That's all at the moment.
That's all.
So if we can shoot later, we might. But right now we're pretty tied up, literally.
All right. Before we go, I just want to see if anyone wants to chime in about how your plans have been affected, or how you're changing plans or adapting to given the new world that we are living in. What are some of the? There's obviously a lot of challenges to it, but how have you been making it work through that? If some of you have been shooting recently, what have been your advice or your techniques to encourage filmmakers to keep maybe moving forward, not to let it completely shut down their ideas? Any thoughts?
And don't let fear take over. I know a lot of people are scared, but you can't let fear hold you back. And that also depends on the people you work with as well. You got to find people who are willing to still film, do their thing. There's a lot of information out there, and how people want to approach things, or whether they want to do film or not, or whatever. But I think there's still people willing to film, and that's the best way to do it. And if you don't find the right people, just keep working behind the scenes on projects. So if you don't have any chance to go anywhere to film, for example, continue writing on your script, continue making it better, any pre-production things you can do, really. And then obviously Zooming, that's good. It's a good feature we have now, doing things remotely with people. Like I said, that relates to pre-production, storyboard, script, get a shot list done. And then once you're good to go, you have everything set.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
idea.
the smartest way to do things.
Yeah, keep moving forward so that you're not just feeling held up. You may be in different stages of your production, but you know, even if you just write something short to stay active, or
Absolutely.
yeah, find ways around it. I was doing filming this weekend, and we had to, you know, kind of find some ways around, you know, some of the social distancing and some of the things, and trying to think ahead. You know, how do we do a scene where people hug, or you know, people do other things, and you have to, you know, you still want to stay true to your story, and you want people to stay safe, and you want people to be able to kind of know what they're on board for when they show up on the set. How about you, Casey? When you've been out, you were just shooting. Anything you learned or had to do too much differently in terms of dealing with the new environment?
The COVID spray. It's literally Everclear vodka, which is like 190.
And you just that, and then you'll just forget that it. No,
it works, and we just spray everybody down. It's hand sanitizer. You put essential oils in it so you don't smell like you have been drinking all day. But it really works. And you know, masks. We wear masks, not always, but yes, we wear masks. We just try to take every precaution that we can, and we, you know, try to be safe as possible.
Sure.
It's hard to social distance on a set.
Yeah, for sure. We were doing some green screen work, and we did some people separate with lockdown camera. We were able to shoot them separately. For craft service, we had individual, you know, sandwiches wrapped, or chips, or just things like that that are less touching that everyone's doing of everything, because you're already when you're having that face-to-face or near to face-to-face acting, you want that to really be the only place that you worry the most about, you know, that kind of thing, and try to eliminate best you can any other things. So
yeah,
it's definitely been a learning experience. Does anyone have any final thoughts or you'd like to share?
Thanks for inviting us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Keep doing your thing. Don't give up. Even if you're brand new to this, like I am, I mean, just do it. That's the best way to learn, is with experience. Yeah, and surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who kind of have that same drive as you. That's the best thing you can do, because if you're surrounding yourself with people who are unmotivated, or you know, don't care as much, or have as much of a passion as you do for what you want to achieve, then you're not going to get very far. So you have to drop those people in your life who aren't willing to push you forward or make you better.
Well, thank you. You guys.
That's all I got.
Great, some really great films. You've all worked really hard on them, and I know that you'll continue to put your creativity use in one way or another, whether it's working on another film or using that energy on another type of project or a career path. But it's definitely very proud to have all of your projects in this year. We do this every year, so if usually earlier in the year, usually by February or March. So please, if you remember, and I'll try to reach out to all of you, you know, as next end of this year comes around, or the next year's starting, if you have something new or something you'd like to you know, submit for our consideration for the next screening, please do, and I'll be trying to keep an eye on what you guys are up to as well. So thank you very much.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Irish.
Yeah, go Irish. Good luck to everyone returning to school, going off to college, coming back to college, anyone with families and kids and stuff going to school.
Old folks home.
We'll make it through. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us. For those of you watching at home, thank you for being part of this first virtual event that we've held. We wanted to keep moving forward with it, and we really appreciate your support of the arts, because films are made for an audience. You know, everyone makes a film so that someone can watch it. And so we really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to watch this, ask questions, and learn about filmmaking. My favorite part of it is watching the films and talking with filmmakers about it. You don't get that opportunity when you're watching a movie in the theater typically, for a big blockbuster movie where you have the director come out afterwards and you can pick their brain. So I really like that. Also want to plug the Riverbend Film Festival, which I'm the founder of. We're going into our 19th year this year. It will also be completely virtual. It will be the first weekend of October. So whatever that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we may even be adding a Sunday date. So you'll be able to come in, and we'll be doing these kinds of Q&As. We'll have an even better chance, like we did tonight, to get filmmakers connected for that. So we invite you to check that out, riverbendfilmfest.com. So thank you all again for joining us. And that's it for the evening. Fabio, you can take us out, and hope everyone has a great night.
Thank you, Tim.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.